Welcome to the Fine Line Video Journal. I'm Angie Kellen. This is Shot Talk with Aki Fujimura. He's the CEO of D2S, which is the managing company sponsor of the eBeam initiative. Hello, Aki.
Hi, Angie.
SPIE just wrapped up, and the eBeam initiative had held several events that included its members and industry luminaries. Based on what you've heard and your own personal observations, what were the big trends this year?
SPI was once again very interesting this year. EUV continues to be a very hot topic. I also saw that DSA gained a lot of momentum. There's additional work done on eBeam direct write as well. But I think in terms of EUV, it was kind of an interesting development this year. I get to talk to a bunch of luminaries at SPI, and what I heard was kind of a bifurcation in the opinion. Some people think that EUV is imminent, and because it's imminent, there's kind of a quiet before the storm. People are taking the approach of put up or shut up, right? Until they have the great results, let's not talk about hyping anymore, right? That people think that some people think that that's happening, and other people, I think, got the impression that there's a little bit of loss of momentum. So it could be going either way. I can't tell which one it is, but it's exciting to see what happens in the next year. DSA, I thought there were a lot of quality papers there, including at the eBeam Initiative Luncheon. We had a discussion by Mentor that talked about the DSA and how moving into DSA impacts the mask industry. And that was a very, very interesting talk. In general, I'd say the ecostructure around DSA is forming up very well. It looks like DSA is an innovation where, just like anything else, when something drastically changes, other things have to change too. But how much do the other things have to change is one of the questions that lead to, is it going to succeed? In EUV, I think part of the issue is there are some substantial problems with the main issue, which is the light source, but there are other things around it which are substantial challenges too. In DSA, I got the impression that the main thing looks pretty good, some challenges. Surrounding things looks very good, some challenges, but very interesting. But it looks like it's very, very doable. So, and I got a very positive impression about DSA this year.
Well, I know that D2S was very involved in SPIE this year, and you had a joint poster with DMP. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, this year was once again a great SPI for D2S. With DNP, we were able to create a new set of full chip test cases, and there were about 20 different test cases created, some at 28 nanometers, some at 20, some at 14. And DNP, Hayashi-san talked about that at the eBeam Initiative Luncheon. We once again demonstrated the 30 to 50% or sometimes even more than 50% shot count reduction benefits of the MB-MDP approach. And we also talked about the resiliency to mask manufacturing variation. That is one of the benefits of MB-MDP. But most importantly, from a D2S perspective and D2S's customers' perspective, the full chip production readiness is what was demonstrated, what was talked about by Hayashi-san of DNP. So that was a very, very good discussion.
Aki, what was your motivation behind publishing your white paper at SPIE?
Yeah, so we had a discussion at the eBeam Initiative Luncheon about mask hotspots, and we also published a white paper about that at www.ebeam.org website. It's a very important issue, especially in the entire industry, from design to wafer manufacturing to, of course, mask manufacturing. And everybody needs to realize that mask hotspots is an emerging issue that's going to be just as important as litho hotspots or OPC hotspots are today, right? industry luminaries, when they were interviewed by the eBeam Initiative survey last year, did say 75% said mask hotspots are going to be significant by 2020, and mask hotspots are in fact going to be as significant as litho hotspots are today. In 50% of the luminaries who answered the questions thought that. So this is obviously an important emerging issue. Even, I would say, 5 years ago, it would have been like, zero. Litho hotspots is everything. A mask hotspot's not very important. So there's a huge change that's happening in a 10-year span. And any kind of a change like that, we need to pay attention to. Right? So a mask hotspots issue is discussed in more technical detail from the whiteboard segment of this edition of the Fine Line Video Journal.
Well, let's look forward a little bit to Photomask Japan, or PMJ. And that's just around the corner in April. And I know that the eBeam Initiative is a sponsor. What are the main reasons that you are a sponsor?
Yeah, the eBeam Initiative has a mission, and from my personal perspective, a way to interpret that mission is to say people need to appreciate more the value of higher quality masks, especially with the mask hotspots issue that we just talked about. And there's a change happening where the mask will increasingly be the reason for problems if we don't watch out for it. Mask hotspots are escaping the mask shop, and that's going to be increasingly an issue going forward as masks get more complex in shape and smaller shapes have to be written. So what that means is the quality of the masks become increasingly important to the entire semiconductor supply chain, and this needs work. This needs attention from everybody, and a conference like PMJ is a great opportunity for everybody to talk about that together, because the entire supply chain, design, wafer manufacturing, mask manufacturing, inspection, and so on have to collaborate together to make this happen.
Well, Aki, as a reminder, when and where is PMJ this year?
Yeah, PMJ starts with a keynote speech by TSMC. I'm looking forward to that. It gets held in Yokohama, Japan. Yokohama is the place that opened up Japan, port of Japan, after 200 years of Japan closure in 1853. So it's a very significant town. It's on April 15th and 16th, Tax Day in U.S.
Aki, thank you so much for sharing your insights with me. I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Angie.
If you'd like more information on PMJ, just take a look at the website below. Thank you so much for joining the Fine Line Video Journal. We hope to see you next time.